Hello, my name is Trevor, and today we're going to be diving back into Tasha's Cauldron of Everything and taking a look at the Circle of Stars Druid. Now, the character we're going to be showcasing today is Cordan, which is played by my friend Wes in our Monday night livestream game. So get ready to understand why we call this character the Master Blaster here on Rolling with Advantage. As we dive in and take a look at the Circle of Stars Druid, the first thing we gotta do is take a look at all the different features and traits we get for playing this subclass. Now, as with all Druid subclasses, this doesn't come online until level 2, but at second level we get both of the big signature abilities for the Circle of Stars Druid. The first thing we pick up is the Star Map. What the Star Map allows us to do is it gives us the ability to pick up the Guidance cantrip, which basically just gives us an extra cantrip, but it also gives us the ability to cast Guiding Bolt, which Druids don't normally have access to. But not only that, but it also allows us to cast Guiding Bolt a number of times a day equal to our proficiency bonus for free. So at level 2, if your proficiency bonus is 2, you get 2 casts of Guiding Bolt without expending a spell slot, which is crazy. I think that's really, really good. So it really is going to help the Druid sit back and become a blaster, a true wizard nuker, because when you look at it, the Guiding Bolt is probably one of the best early level nuke spells in the game, and it scales pretty well. So I love Guiding Bolt, and basically here's a whole Druid subclass we can build around Guiding Bolt. Sign me up. Sounds great. Now, the next thing we pick up is Starry Form. Now, Starry Form gives us an alternate route if we want to not do wild shape into animals, but if we're thinking this is a blaster, this is perfect. What Starry Form allows us to do is we can use our wild shape to instead turn ourselves into these constellations, whether it be the Archer, the Chalice, or the Dragon. We have 3 different options of what we can bonus action wild shape into. Now, the first one, the Archer, is our damage constellation. Basically, all these starry lights come over in the form of the Archer, and we can, whenever we turn into the Archer, and every turn after that as a bonus action, we can make a ranged spell attack, which deals 1d8 plus our wisdom modifier on a hit. That is crazy good. Think of this as the ranged spiritual weapon version for a Druid. So we're going to have that plus Guiding Bolt going. Very, very cool. Now, the Chalice, we can do that as well, and that's our healing form. So basically, if I turn into this, whenever I heal someone with a spell slot, I can then heal someone else for another d8 plus my wisdom modifier. That turns Healing Word into 2 different healing options. That's very, very good. Finally, Dragon, probably the one that a lot of people will look at and say, I don't know how useful that is. I'm telling you, I've actually seen it. It's really, really good. Finally, the Dragon Constellation, anytime you make an Intelligence, Wisdom check, or a Constitution saving throw to maintain concentration, if you roll under a 9, you count it as a 10. That's very good, and if you have your skills set up right, being Intelligence and Wisdom, and you're going to Dragon form, it kind of helps you get through some of those investigation checks or knowledge checks or things like that. So I've seen that actually be pretty useful. So at 6th level, we pick up Cosmic Omen. What this allows us to do is in the morning, I can roll a dice, and if that die is even, I pick up Wheel, and if it's odd, I pick up Woe. Basically, what this allows me to do is a number of times a day, I can, equal to my proficiency modifier, I can use my reaction to either, if I have Wheel, I can add a d6 to an attack roll, a saving throw, or an ability check of someone close to me, or if it's odd, I can use Woe to do the same thing, but for my enemies. So very cool to think that, hey, I can use this to help protect people from getting hit by big spell effects, or I can make sure we land key spells on an upcoming battle, depending on which way you rolled this. I think that's a very, very cool ability, and I'm excited to see my character at the table hit this so we can start seeing this. Now, at 10th level, we get Twinkling Constellations. What this allows us to do is your Starry Forms improve. Your Archer and Chalice will start to do 2d8 damage instead of 1d8. And then while the Dragon is active, you pick up a flying speed. So I think Dragon may be one of those a lot of people don't use a lot until 10th level. And they're like, well, hey, now I can fly and shoot people. So I think that's super, super cool. Finally, at 14th level, we get a super tanky ability for the Circle of Stars Druid. Whenever you're in one of your starry forms, you gain resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage. I mean, it's basically like he's raging. That's crazy good. So for that reason alone, I think you don't really want to multi-class this unless you're trying to do something really kind of weird. I think you just go straight Druid and go for Full of Stars ability at 14th level. I think it'd be super cool. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to dive in and take a look at Cordan. Now this is a character that my friend Wes has been playing for about 9 sessions or so far. He's at level 5, so we're going to see where he is at this point. Now, for race, he picked Variant Human, and he chose Celestial for his language, and he chose to put he gets 1 point in 2 different stats. He chose Wisdom, and he chose Intelligence, which makes sense for a lot of Druids. A lot of Druids, they really want to focus on the back end of their stats. Makes sense as a caster. For skills, he took Perception, which I think is one of the top skills in the game. And for his feat choice, he chose Observant. So he really wanted to double down on the whole thing with Perception. And what this allows him to do is he put an extra point into Wisdom. So to start the game, he gets 2 points in Wisdom and 1 point in Intelligence because he's a Variant Human. He also picks up this huge +5 passive bonus to his Wisdom and Perception and Investigation scores. So he really wanted to make sure, hey, he's going to be the perceptive character, which is interesting because he really took that and said that's the focal point of early on of his persona of a character who maybe felt like he was the smartest guy in the room because he was so observant. He just saw things differently. He saw more than what other people did. I think it was very interesting to kind of help him find an anchor early on for his role playing, which he's done extremely well with. So for class, let's go. We've already kind of talked about what he gets for being a Circle of Stars Druid. For proficiencies, he chose Arcana and Nature. Again, he wanted to have, part of his story is he went to Waterdeep to train. He took the Sage background, so we'll see what skills he took over there. But it kind of made sense. He wanted to be the educated, the learned man who was very observant. So he took Arcana, Nature, and then let's jump over in description. He did take the Sage background, which gave him history, and he also picked up Investigation, along with Sylvan and Abyssal. His whole story was he was sent there to do a lot of investigation, to do a lot of education, and to learn some things. So that's what he did. So to go down here, we're going to pick up, for his ability score improvement, he picked up Skill Expert. What he wanted to do here is the way he had his stats set up, he had an odd point in intelligence, so he wanted to get that up to an even number. He wanted to pick up the insight. There were some things happening in game. He's like, man, I really want to have insight. And he wanted to double down on perception. So what he did was he picked up the insight skill and he gave himself expertise in perception. This is a character that not a lot of things get by him. Not a lot of things can stealth by him. He just spots everything. So that's how he built this character. For spells, he went Create Bonfire. He really enjoys having the control aspect of this, being able to kind of close off a hallway with Bonfire. Shape Water, haven't seen him use this too much yet. Thorn Whip, he likes that. In my games, I allow my players to use Thorn Whip as like a hook shot from Legend of Zelda, so he's enjoyed having that. And as well, he has guidance for the Starry map. He's used Entangle a lot. He likes the combo of having Entangle and then using the Starry Form to kind of shoot people that are entangled. He's enjoyed that. Fairy Fire he's used a bit. Healing Word, he's used that a lot. That's kind of a staple. He picked up Dark Vision. Now, spells, he's changed out a lot. I'm just showing you what he has right now. We went into the Underdark, and his character being a human, he's like, I need Dark Vision. The cool thing that we learned about Dark Vision is that it's not a concentration spell, and it lasts for 8 hours. So that he has used a ton in this scenario. We've been in the Underdark for 3 sessions, and he's really enjoyed having Dark Vision on for long periods of time. Lesser Restoration he's got just in case he needs it. Pass Without Trace, the group has loved him having this spell. He uses this a lot. Summon Beast he's used a good bit too in combat. We've enjoyed that. Erupting Earth, he used this for the first time last game and absolutely melted some bugbears with it. So that was very, slight spoilers, I guess. But he really enjoyed having that. So the idea here is that he's got, if you'll look, he's got some healing, he's got some utility, he's got some summoning, he's got a little bit of everything, but that's how Wes wants to play his characters. He likes having a lot of options. while he can go back and go into Master Blaster mode and go like Guiding Bolt, Starry Form, Archer, shoot somebody, he also likes, playing the control. He wants to have Entangle up. He plays a mage in World of Warcraft. And I've seen him over the years play this character, so he likes controlling the battlefield. He plays a frost mage, so this kind of makes sense. He wanted to kind of take that into D&D and say, I want to be a controller that can also do a ton of damage. So he's really enjoyed that aspect. Played with Wes for a long time, and he's always wanted to play. He's played the skill rogue. He's played wizards and things of that nature, but he'd never played a druid. I had to kind of talk him into it. And once he played this character, he told me the other day, he said, I don't ever see me not playing a druid. Like, he loves playing this because he loves the versatility. He's used his wild shape into animal forms as more of a something he needs for utility, sneaking around or getting somewhere quick, or, he had to make a bunch of athletics checks to jump from place to place. And he's like, I'm going to turn into a mountain goat and jump from area to area. He likes having that in his kit, but also being able to pump out a lot of damage, control the area, heal if he needs to. He can do a little bit of everything, which he has really enjoyed. And it's been fun to see a druid, because I think one of my critiques of the druid is that I feel it's one of the most powerful classes that you can play. I feel it's also one of the most difficult because there are so many buttons to push. A lot of times it can be, well, what button do I push? Because I have so many. And then a lot of times when people play the Circle of Moon Druid, which is extremely good, and it's fun and very powerful, but what we see is a lot of times people go, once you turn into bear, that's what I do. I turn to a bear and I maul people, and a lot of times they forget, oh, I have all these other things I can do as well. Not to take away from a Moon Druid, I think they're awesome, but I have enjoyed having a character play a Druid and kind of hitting all of the different buttons and kind of seeing a variety of ways they can be useful. It has been a lot of fun to DM a player that is playing a Druid and kind of hitting all of the different facets of what it can do. So it's been extremely cool. For abilities, we did point buy. He put 8 into strength, 14 dex, 14 constitution, 12 intelligence, and 14 wisdom. Now, he does have an extra point he put in for being a variant human, so he ended up with a 13 intelligence to start, and then he had a 15 wisdom, plus his feat he got at level 1 observant. So he started the game with 13 intelligence and 16 wisdom once you put in the variant human things, and 10 charisma. Now, at 4th level, when he picked up the skill focus feat, he put a point in intelligence, which got that to 14. So currently, he has an 8, 14, 14, 14, 16, and his charisma's 19. Now, whoa, how did we go from 10 to 19? He has a magic item that brought his charisma from 10 to 19. But that's this character. But I don't think necessarily a druid needs that, but in this story, his magic item, that's what he's got. But you could build it differently. One of the things that I like about this way that he built this originally out the gate was that he wanted to be kind of defensive, because he was thinking, if I need to run into combat with the chalice and cast cure wounds and then have the chalice heal someone else, I need to have some good defense as well. So he put 14 into dex, and then between that, his armor, and his shield, he had pretty high AC, which we'll take a look here. So for his equipment, now, normally I show characters with just your base equipment. This is actually what he has in game. He has the Amulet of Alluring Diplomacy. He has a breastplate, he has a scimitar, and he has a shield. With that setup, we'll take a look at his actual character sheet here. He has an 18 AC, which is very, very good. Now, normally when you start the game, your AC is a little bit lower than that because you can't start the game with a breastplate, but you can still get your AC pretty stinking high, 16, 17 range out of the gate, just based off of what he's doing here. If you'll take a look, his passive perception is a 24, his passive investigation is a 20. So as a DM, a lot of times I have to remember, as soon as Cordan Acosta walks in the room, these are the things that you perceive. If you say, hey, these are the things that I'm looking at for investigation, he spots things, and that's okay. I'm totally okay with the character walking in and sees the things that are hidden, because that is the strength. He's put so much into his character being the guy that spots those things. I'm okay with him being a little bit like Sherlock Holmes. That's kind of the way he wants to play it. I'm going to let him lean into that. A lot of times I feel like DMs go, oh, I hate it whenever my players find all the things I have hidden. we hide those things, we put those things in the game because we want them to be found. And if a character has put everything he's got into being able to find clues, let him find the clues. Like, that's what he wants to do. So I think it's super cool that he's done it this way, and like I said, it's been very fun to DM. So this is where he's at level 5. This is an active character sheet. You'll see he's got some hit points missing. We're in between games. So if you are interested in learning more about this, please join our Discord. You can talk to me or Wes directly about the experience of playing a Circle of Stars Druid. I do believe he plans on leveling this straight as a Druid and not multi-classing. If you want to also talk about other builds, come and join us. You can also ask questions or make any comments down below. If you want to follow our campaign, we are on podcast. I'll put some links down below where you can catch up on our campaign on podcast. We also play live on Monday nights on YouTube at 8:30 Eastern. So be sure to come on by, say hello, and until next time, keep rolling with advantage. Thanks.